YouTube every day, do you, boys and girls? This is my chick, and this is my fun, this is for bashing, and this is real fun. Yeah! Woo! Hi there, everyone. We're going to take a look at some more Trackmaster wondrous toys. I'm going to unbox and play with Helpful Harvey. I'm also going to unbox and play with Runaway Stephen, yeah! And I'm also going to unbox and play with Lexi. I'm a little bit late getting to review these wondrous Trackmaster toys. I've had lots of trouble with YouTube/Google, and these three sets were basically part of this family of Trackmaster toy trains. Now I'm trying to decide which one of these will I start off with. I've got a sneaky suspicion I might start off with Stephen here. And strangely enough, I think that is Stephen, so I'll carefully clear away the other trains there. Okay, this is Runaway Stephen, of course. The first one we're going to take a look at. I can see there it says, passenger car goes from empty to full. So there must be some little funky thing that goes on with that back carriage there. If I spin the box around, we can read the back. On the back of the box, there's quite the read there. After a misunderstanding, Stephen races off to find his friend Millie, but he's so upset he accidentally brings the passengers with him. Silly Stephen! Isn't that just like a reverse story of the time when Thomas took off without passengers and everyone's trying to wave him down and he thought he was a hero? Well, that's how it's reading to me. How would you like me to unbox Stephen? Would you like to see the rubber chicken in play? I'll tell you a funny story about rubber chickens before I get into this. This is actually a new chicken. See, it's got a squeaker. My previous chickens have all sort of basically died. Here's an earlier chicken, and guess what? No squeak, so that's a dead one. This one's a good one. I'm an expert at this, and it's all about having the right aim. Okay, here we go. Come on, Stephen. Out you come. It won't hurt. I can. Oh, yeah! The chicken is almost done. At the front panel is smashed, but we're going to just do it a bit. Oh, it's jumping up at me. I can see Stephen's almost out of the box. Oh, yeah! Yeah! Stephen's out. And the rest of the carriages, which will trip very gently, are almost out. Just a few more whacks, and it will, believe me, come out. There we go. Nice work, chicken, you're retired. I'm just looking in here. There'll be like little instructions or whatever about batteries, and I mean, you normally just throw that away. Well, I do. Here's Trackmaster 2 Runaway Stephen. There's his tender with his little water barrel there. And this is his little carriage that has the appearing and disappearing passengers. That's rather cute, isn't it? Maybe the best way to appreciate Runaway Stephen is give Runaway Stephen a bit of a spin here. And we can marvel at the glory of this most wondrous Trackmaster 2 engine. I'm just hoping someone puts a little bit more coal into Stephen there because I want him to speed up a bit. He's a little bit sluggish at the moment. Okay, just taking a look there at Stephen's face. I don't know, to me the face looks very large. Maybe it's because of the style of engine that Stephen is, so the fact that there's not much going on behind there. I think it's got a good looking face. Maybe you can have your say about that. But yeah, it looks fairly awesome. Just looking at Stephen there, as for detailing, I don't think it's too bad. We've got the nice bit of timber work at the front along the buffer. We can see the pipe work in a sense around Stephen. There's that little bit of gold around his funnel there. There's enough there to keep it looking interesting, I feel. And his tender as well has got an emblem there. Isn't that back to the castle? I'm just trying to think when he first appeared. I'm not very good at remembering, am I? King of the Railway, was that right? I hope I'm right there. No, I'll be corrected. But maybe if I put the earlier version of Stephen up, as in the classic Trackmaster one, we might see this Stephen a bit differently. So that Stephen I've been showing is a 2017 Stephen. Let me get on the 2012. Whoa, pretty rough work there, but I've got it on somehow. And yes, the 2017 Stephen has a much, much larger face, doesn't it? Just trying to get some side comparisons here. Okay, the outside one's Trackmaster 2, the inside one is classic Trackmaster. Go back again, what do you think? There is actually quite a few differences going on there. I like the fact that the classic one has got the piston rod working on the front wheel. I think that's very important to see. I notice the classic Trackmaster one's got a lamp on the front there. It's got its buffer details that we just don't see in Trackmaster 2, but it's sort of, to me, lacking that plumbing work. On a side view like that, as in detailing and painted, it doesn't look as good as what's crawling up here, and that is the Trackmaster 2 version here from 2017. I think this one here has a much better profile look versus the classic Trackmaster. It's really something that will divide the audience. You'll be nitpicking this one for hours. I can see rivet detailing on the classic one. The tender looks okay as well, but I can also see the same rivet detailing on the 2017 Trackmaster 2 Stephen. And I sort of think that the tender on that looks okay, but mind you, if I go back to the classic one, yeah, that tender's got more detailing. It looks more interesting down around the wheels, doesn't it, hey? Mind you, looking down on top here, the tender's coal detailing is, well, a bit lackluster. There's no shovel in there. You need a shovel in these sorts of engines to shovel the coal in. Yet when we get round to the Trackmaster 2 version, yeah, the coal detailing is a lot better, and yes, I can also see a shovel. I'm just looking at these again, I'm just trying to make the right decision here. I think what I'm going to say is this, and I hope you concur with me. When I'm looking at this model here, what makes Stephenson's rocket, or Stephen, is for the fact he should have a very large driving wheel here. That was one of the major design components of that train. And I think when you look at the classic Trackmaster version of it, I think they've got that design aspect correct versus the Trackmaster 2 version. Yes, I think it's actually very interesting to look at what's going on between those two engines. Trackmaster 2 does have that thing going on where things become generic looking, and maybe we're seeing a bit of it in this Runaway Stephen train here. And we'll have a play with the passenger carriage here, which has got your appearing and disappearing passengers. Yeah, it's a nice little thing to play with. I don't think I've got anything else quite like that. And I'm not exactly sure whether it's part of a story or not. I know the audience are going to say, oh, I was in this episode, don't you realise? Well, I don't, and I've just, you can really hammer this and have a lot of fun until things start to go wrong. But somehow things haven't really gone too badly at all. Like I say, one of those things, you don't see that on YouTube every day. I should try and write what's wrong, shouldn't I? And get Stephen and carriages back on track. He's actually, well, he was playing up until classic Stephen comes along and gives him the big shove. And you definitely do not see that on YouTube every day. Look at the power of classic Stephen there. He's just stopped there giving the Trackmaster 2 Stephen the shove. Well, we better turn these trains off because we look after our trains, don't we, boys and girls? And we'll move on to the next train. And our next wondrous character in the series is Helpful Harvey, and I can read in the box there, the wood chipper spins. And of course we want to spin the box and read the back. Well, the read on the box is extensive. I'll just read the first part for you. After a storm strikes Sodor, Harvey is excited to help by using his crane to clear the broken trees off the tracks. Yay for Harvey! And this reads out as a memorable moment. You know, the sort of memorable moment I like is when a rubber chicken comes in and starts doing the unboxing. Yeah! And sometimes the train jumps off the table, but don't worry, the chicken can come in and keep doing the unboxing. And I think Harvey is almost out. If I do a bit of a bump like this, Harvey drops to the floor. I think I'm in trouble here. I don't know whether Harvey's hook has gone missing in that unboxing or whether he had the hook in the box, because I can't really remember seeing in there. Maybe if I look back on the video, when I make the video, I can see the hook, but yeah, this is a hookless and now useless Harvey. And maybe we've learned a valuable lesson why we don't do unboxing with rubber chickens, hey? Oh, Harvey's on the floor again. Maybe the hook's inside the box hidden. See if we can get the rest of the stuff out nice and gently, of course. Yeah, done. I've just stepped inside and I had a look at an earlier shot in this video and you would have seen it by now, and this was a factory error Harvey. And I'm actually really upset that I've unboxed this. It came boxed like this, but it was missing the hook. Okay, I've got another one here. Don't ask me why I've got two of these. I'm not giving these by Mattel. I've got to hunt down and find this myself. That one there's got a hook. Okay, I will pull this Harvey out of this box because we want to look at the proper toy, don't we? And just to show you, this has not been fiddled with, and this is very important to see. There's the original taping there. Okay, that you get when you will see these in store, and the other end there, the original taping, because I never opened the end of the box, is still there. You know, the rubber chicken, well, opens it in a very different way. So I'm going to grab the Harvey, which has got its hook. Okay, we're going to do a swap-a-rooney here because we want to look at the toy as it should be, and the Harvey, which is missing its hook, will be put back away in the box. Yeah. I've got a little collection going of factory error toys where you'll get the wrong name on something. Obviously that's Mater in somebody else's boxing there. All the toads were factory errors from what I was told. Magnet was back to front, or the toy was made back to front. You know, things like this. I love things like this. And I think a lot of people saw things like this going on as well. I like that as well. And I think one of my favourites, although I sneakily reboxed this, was the Hero, which had the green going on amongst the black. Many people say to me these sorts of errors are worthy to collect because they increase in value over time to people who are hardcore toy collectors, and I think this Harvey here is very worthwhile to be in this box. All those shenanigans derailed this video. There's the constructions. You know what we do with those. Whooshka! A rubber chicken is retired for a moment. We want to get the wood chipper and that together and see it run. Hopefully I'm back on track now. I've got Harvey up on the turntable. He's got his rolling stock like that with a whole bundle of wood in the background. Looks like Harvey can also carry that in his hook. And there is the beautiful wood chipper. Before I give Harvey a spin, we'll take a look at his wondrous little hooking arm here. Will it go 360? No, it looks like it does a 180 turn there. It would have been nice if it spun right round and he picked up his own load, but hey, you can't have everything, can you? Yes, I think the detailing on this is nice. We'll get it up and running and we can see Harvey's miraculous thing that he does. Yes, his wood chipper is chipping away. Nice work, Harvey. I'm thinking if I'm clever, and this is what children would do, when Harvey's actually running along, you could come along and you could give him his load to play with while he's on the move, or is it going to be too problematic? I like to do silly things, don't I? We like to be challenged in life, and this is presenting to me a great challenge, but I'm not going to give up until I win. Or there's a train wreck, and yes, we have a train wreck. Maybe while he's on his side here laying down, I can get that that on the front there, and I can reset Harvey back up on the tracks, and we can have a bit of a play and see how he looks carrying a bundle of twigs, eh? Get the wood chipper on, yeah, okay. Let's see how Harvey looks now. Oh yeah, he's looking really awesome. And if you want to, you can send it out like that. In fact, I think that looks even more awesome. This would be a nice one to have. Got some nice play things going on there. It looks very different to anything else, and Harvey's a bit of a classic. And if you wanted to spin it around the other way, we can do that, can't we? Hopefully without doing a train wreck. Oh man, sorry about that. There we go. Yes, that would actually be fun if I get an engine running on the inside, hey? What do you reckon? Ah, yes. It's quite miraculous. Harvey's quite a sedate player, but I know something that's going to razz it up and make it far more interesting. Streamlining! I keep saying it, this is the most spectacular Thomas toy that I've got in many, many ways, and I'll get it set on the full speed. It has two speeds. There's the normal speed and also the streamlining speed. Yes, and something is going to possibly happen here. We'll just watch what happens. Go, Streamliner! Oh, yes! Yes, Streamliner's teamed up there with Harvey. Well, again, you don't see that on YouTube every day, do you, boys and girls? And I can only imagine that something tragic is going to happen to break down what's going on here. Although that might be the greatest pairing that we've ever seen. It's beautiful to look at. Streamlining Thomas is stunning. And actually, I quite like this Trackmaster 2 Harvey. It's really looking like a bit of a lock-up there. It might need a hand of God to come in and spice things up. If I just give Thomas a tap there, and his old Streamliner's been derailed. And it's still really not messing up too much yet. Wow, Harvey's sort of probably getting dragged along with the speed and power of that Streamliner's jumping a bit, being jumpy. It's still on the tracks though. It's something I can't believe. And, oh yes, there's more jumps coming there from the Streamliner. Oh, something is going to nudge and biffo and give here, I'm sure about it, but it still hasn't gone wrong. Oh, come on, Streamliner! Streamliner is just trying to break free of Harvey's grasp there, and the twigs are still caught up on the side of Streamliner. Harvey's doing his best to stay on track. Streamliner is just... oh, come on, Streamliner, you can do it! You can do it! Oh, I was trying to bust through, Streamliner, come on! Come on, Streamliner, I'm not going to give up on you yet! I'm not going to give up. It's trying to break through, and Harvey is holding on for all dear life. Harvey will not let go of Streamliner. What is going to happen here? I think there's only one thing that's going to break down this, and it's going to be the rubber chicken! Oh, for all that screaming, my neighbours are going to call the police again, I know, but I had to break up that. That was a lot of fun to do. I can see the fun in this toy, I can tell you. I like for the fact that Harvey does this and you can have lots of fun. You could be driving around and he could be causing havoc where he lays his load, eh? Yes, come on Streamliner, turn off and please treat your toys gently. Don't be like me. I'd like to give Harvey another spin. I actually quite like this and get the wood chipper and all back on track. Here's my plan for more train wrecking fun. I've moved Harvey to the inside track so it's going to make him seem faster, although he's not. His rolling stock is there. I've set his load off to collide with whoever's on the outside track. I'll get Harvey going first. And we know who we're going to put on the outside track. It may have trouble catching up, but we'll just see. I'm going to get streamlining on. And Streamliner is catching up with Harvey. I'm just going to give it a spin here and we'll just see what happens here. Oh, it's a tussle. Oh, it's going to bust through. It's going to bust through. It's still fighting Harvey here. It's going to try and get through, but the load is stuck there on the driver's cab of the Streamliner. Oh, it's making all sorts of geary sounds as well. It's going to fight on, fight on, fight on. Come on, Streamliner, you can bust through there. Come on, you can do it. Or maybe I need to put Streamliner's carriages on as well. Look at Harvey there in the background saying, what are you doing, you Streamliner? Get off my railway. Get off my railway now. I don't want you on my railway because I'm Trackmaster too. I'm the boss here. But the Streamliner is just hanging in there. And again, I think I'd have to bring in the rubber chicken to sort it out. Well, if you haven't worked out Harvey's fun to play with, well, please don't blame me because I think this is a lot of fun for the fact Harvey can have his hook in areas which cause confusion and delay. Let me get that load back on there, and I've got Streamliner off to the side here, and I've sneakily added Annie and Clarabelle. I don't know how much these are online these days. I can only assume these would go up in price. Actually, I've got in the wrong area there. Let me get Harvey going first. Okay, and I'll just tease Streamliner onto the tracks here, going full pelt. And yeah, something will happen. Oh, Streamliner's catching up! Catching up! Wow, Buffo! And straight through! He's lost his load, but he's caught up on Annie there! He's caught up on Annie! It looks like the hook and the load is just... Oh no! Harvey slipped the caramel! Harvey slipped the caramel! I don't know what's going on with caramel. Gonna keep Harvey hooked up there, and I can see the load in there between the trains. I don't know what's gonna go on. And it looks like a bit of a stalemate going on at the moment. I wonder if Streamliner's gonna bust through. Harvey's doing his best to hang on to Streamliner. Streamliner doesn't like it. I don't know what's gonna happen next, boys and girls. I don't know because I've lost the rubber chicken. I don't know what to do. Harvey's just gonna be stuck there for an eternity. Oh, Harvey's just broken through and the load is caught up in the front of Harvey's Streamliner. Oh no, Streamliner's caught up there again. And Harvey's doing his best to derail Streamliner. It's just getting very ugly. Very, very ugly. And I like it when it gets ugly because that's where the fun is. If you haven't realised the fun of Harvey yet, well, you haven't been watching the video, have you? And Harvey's doing his best to emulate Streamliner. Oh no, he's failed. Now he's caught up in Clarabelle again. Can't keep my eyes off this. It's turning into a train wreck. Oh, again, Harvey has just broken through. I don't know what that bit of timber is doing there. We're just trying to study it on the back of the... Oh, again. Look at that there. That is just really weird. I like it when it gets... Oh, yes. 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 Bring it on, Harvey. Harvey's doing it for me. And that load of logs on the tracks is just getting pushed along. And just looking very... Oh, there you go. We finally got on camera the way Harvey works his magic. Yeah, I think this is the best fun with toy trains. But then again, there is another sort of toy fun, isn't there? Yay, rubber chicken. Woo! I better quieten down because the neighbours will really call the police. Sadly, that's the sort of world we live in these days. Let me just reset Harvey. I hope he's still got his hook. Phew, thank goodness for that. Oh, I can't get his battery thing off there. And I've actually got another Harvey to make a comparison with, which I think is very important and will hopefully bring some sanity to this video. I've actually got a 2011 Harvey. This was a very curious toy. I saw these sort of not selling. I saw a lot of them hanging about. Now what was different with this one is that it had a powered back. Now I like this because that powered back can be used for many other things. If you make longer trains, you'll understand what's going on there. They're like little boosters that you can put along your train to help trains go along. That's the way I saw them. This toy was $26 or nearly $27, hey? And I wonder who out there has one of these Harveys from this era, and what did you think about it? It's actually vastly different to the Harvey that we've been taking a look at in this video, and I really don't think I've actually shown this too much. This is very different in scale in a sense. You can say whether you think this is more true to the way Harvey is. Does his little thing turn? Yes, it does. It does a 360, okay. But it's nowhere near as, well, dynamic or, how would I say it, fun versus the Harvey I just played with. This Harvey looks like it's got some caricature going on here. The hook on it is basically, well, just a bit of plastic moulding. I don't think you can hook anything there. And it's got this powered section here, which gives Harvey his spin. And I'll just get it going here so you can see the way it works. It's just a dummy front in a sense. There's no power coming from the front. Yes, did you like that version of Harvey, which was, yeah, well, let's call it Trackmaster Classic era. Very different to the toy that I've been showing in this video. I've done something quite radical. I've just tried to, what do you call it, weigh up the Trackmaster 2 Harvey, because I want you to see these two side by side, and I want to keep the slow one on the outside track, and there you go. Yes, you can just see what's going on there between those two Harveys, like chalk and cheese, but which one do you prefer? I'll have to say it here, I actually prefer the Trackmaster 2 one, that's me personally, but maybe some people will say the classic Trackmaster Harvey's got more of the right shape going on. Yes, maybe, yeah, you have your say. You know, I know it's going to divide the audience, it always does. Just getting a bit of a different angle there. You can see what's going on between the two Harveys. I think it's interesting to see it from all sides. Just trying to get the two faces in focus at the same time, near impossible. It's very hard to get these trains to play at the same speed. Very hard. I know some of you want to see the way the rolling stock is playing out there. I've just done that to weigh up the train, to basically slow it up. It's a lot of fun to do it like that, isn't it? I think it's fun. Yes, it's nice and fun making strange trains, but it's also nice and fun adding the streamlining on, and it's going to do a train wreck for me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Streamliner always performs in beautiful ways. Go, Streamliner, go. And it's just having trouble. Yes, busted through there. And, well, going to try and take out everything. Yes, it has. Streamliner has busted through and taken out both Harveys. You had to see that to believe it. Hey, yeah. I really thought Mattel would have thought up of making a turntable style of toy train play. Yeah, well, they're a little bit behind in the 8-ball, and I'll just gently put these trains away. The next train in this series we're going to take a look at is Lexi The Experimental Engine, featured in the movie Journey Beyond Soda. Before we get into unboxing this toy, there is something I noticed about Lexi. Lexi was a bit of a shelf sitter. I saw copious amounts of Lexi in store, sitting around collecting dust, and this box here also shows all the signs of it being in store for a long time. I actually picked this one up especially for the fact it had been in store for a long time, and it shows all the signs, and its plastic window at the front all starts to get scratched up, and it's been moved around a lot in store. It's been fiddled and diddled with, but it's never been purchased. Now, what is it about Lexi that doesn't sell? Now, my audience is going to tell me that. I think there's one very simple thing Mattel could do, is to add a piece of track in with these toys. I'd really like to see that happen again. It was happening a long time back, if you remember the earlier Trackmaster stuff. But yeah, something about Lexi that is problematic. Before I unbox Lexi here, I'm just going to make sure Lexi is all there, because I'm quite disappointed I unboxed Harvey, which is actually a mistaken box. Okay, I think Lexi can get the chicken. You see that toy in the middle of the table there? You know what comes next? Yeah! rubber chicken, and the rubber chicken will very easily get Lexi out of the box. Oh yeah, go chicken, go, 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 go! Well, crikey, Lexi's playing too hard to get. Mind you, she is different. That's part of her style. Maybe she needs extra chicken, eh? This is my chicken, this is my fun, this is for bashing, and this is real fun. Yeah! Woo! Lexi's putting up a sustained fight. Come on. Oh, yes! Okay, let's get this video back on track. I've got Lexi up on the turntable. Lexi is very different, and it's the power of being different is part of Lexi's story. This design here is what they call cab forward. Now, when I went to put Lexi on track here, of course, initially I went to put her on back to the front because I thought this is the front and this is the back. But this was an experimental engine that was based off a real engine called the Freak. I know my audience will know more about the Freak than I do. And Lexi is an oil burner. So here she's got an oil here that would be fed hopefully up to the front here and burnt, and I can only assume the feature on the top here is something to do with the way she burns her oil. It might be nice to see Lexi moving. It's funny, as I turn this on I think it's going to go that direction, but of course it'll go the other direction. It does take a little while to get used to the way Lexi works. Just while she's at the back of the turntable, we can see a little bit of a different detailing on the side there. That gold piece, I don't know what it is, but it looks nice. And the more I look at this, I don't know, it's doing strange things to me. There's a nice look at Lexi's face. There's one part of me screaming to basically rip this model apart and set her in the right direction and put the face on the front. Is that screaming at you as well? Maybe this is the problem with Lexi, but my audience will of course elaborate on that and explain what's going on here. Yes, there's something about this engine, I just want to pick it up and spin it around and make it go in the right direction. I think I'm starting to understand why this is a bit of a shelf sitter. There's something about a colour as well. I'd call that turquoise in my colour scheme. It looks a bit ratty in a sense, but then again sometimes ratty looks good. But maybe I'm starting to understand why this isn't very popular. I think for the fact that it's all back the front, I mean, that's really starting to grind on me. Just looking at the third wagon there, it's got, looks like a load of steel or scrap. I think I've got a piece like that somewhere else, I think. Yes, but the more I look at Lexi here, I'm thinking maybe it's a project to come along and de-experimentalize Lexi and set her in the right direction. That is just gnawing away at one part of me. Maybe it's doing the same to you for the fact that all seems back to front. Maybe it was a huge gamble to get on this line because I think the other experimental engines, especially Theo, really struggle to sell. I mean, Theo is a major peg sitter. Maybe one of the most major peg sitters that I've ever seen. You know, maybe Lexi just needed a more interesting piece of rolling stock there that may have really helped sell this. You know, we needed that part there because that's part of the way Lexi works. And I think the real letdown is, and it happens a lot with Trackmaster 2 and Trackmaster Classic and also the TOMY trains, is the generalization of design. And if you look at the Thomas Adventures version of Lexi, you get to see a far more interesting interpretation of this train, I feel. And I think really that's what's lacking here. That's one of the major and very important parts of design that's missing on this model. It's quite peculiar because in a funny way it's the one that I perceived as being the least successful because I see it sitting on the shelves, but man, it's the one that I seem to be spending the most time looking at. Weird, isn't it? Okay, like a magic railway which has gone into meltdown, I've got the three engines that I had a look at in this video, and you can tell me which one of these catches your eye. Which one's your favourite? I'll tell you what, I've got a certain favourite and I'm going to come in and have a focus on it. And the one that was doing it for me in this review was Harvey. Yay, Helpful Harvey. Nice bit of playability for the fact the hook can spin around and cause a bit of havoc. We had fun with that. It's also got that nice bit of rolling stock. And we'll just get to it there, being the wood chipper. Yes, I very much like that as well. And sometimes a little bit of rolling stock that can save a toy in a sense. And I think that's what Lexi was missing. Mind you, if we catch up to Stephen here and I'll just do a very fast spin here. Yeah, Stephen's got that, you know, old world thing going on there because, you know, Stephenson's rocket and all the rest of it. I'm not sure exactly how popular that is in the sense of Thomas and Friends, but for the fact we had this bit of rolling stock that appearing and disappearing passengers, yeah, you know, that was okay. And really, I think the best fun is if you go out and buy all these toys for your Thomas and Friends railway. And I think what I'm going to do here, because I like Harvey and the way Harvey plays, is we'll just spin Harvey's little crane. Oh, it's causing trouble here. There'll be a train wreck, which has been going to be made in a bad way here. We'll put Harvey's hook there, and we'll see how Stephen handles that hook, hey? Will he get through? What? Oh, there you go. They're having a bit of a helping hand there. The hook's sort of caught on the top of the, we'll call it the plumbing of Stephen. Yeah, that's sort of cool. And actually, they're going to come along here now. Lexi's going to get kissed. Oh, okay. Oh, now it's the passenger thing. Yeah, so it's all sorts of hookups going on. Oh, actually, Stephen's going to break free. If Stephen gets away from that Harvey's hook, man, that is amazing. Yeah, so Harvey caught up to Lexi. Lexi's been a bit of a slouch. But maybe that's the problem with being experimental. But, you know, I think the best fun is if you go out and get all the trains. And for what I can see, well, Lexi's a very, very easy one to get. And Harvey's hook is still causing havoc there. I'm not sure if you can see, but actually Harvey's getting pushed over to the side because, well, the hook is caught up on the passenger train there. And Harvey's playing a very, very dangerous game, and if he plays that game for too long, he's going to derail himself and not look very pretty, is it? And it's turned into one of those very strange equilibriums of toy train fun. I know one way to upset that equilibrium, and it works in a very simple way like this. Yeah! I'm always curious about what makes something popular, what makes something unpopular. I think in this set here, it's one of these things, that little toy car, and the fact that we've got a snake as the rolling stock thing, it might be the thing that children pull into. I don't know, it's one of these very, very curious things that goes on. I'm just going to show you a whole bunch of engines here. I'm going to be quick on this. Merlin Invisible, man, if you weren't quick on getting this one, they were gone really fast. Had good rolling stock as well. Excellent. Trackmaster 2 train. This one here was a bit of a shelf sitter. I call it the David Bowie Thomas because it had the lightning flash on her face. I don't know, there was something about this one that was not selling. Don't understand why. Just reminded me the prices on these have come down actually. Yeah, Philip, shelf sitter, but I think he's been a shelf sitter in all different variations. Okay, the Wing Thomas. For me, this was a hard one to find. I think it was only in Toys R Us back when it was around. Yeah, I think that sold fairly well. That one, it had the squashed Annie and Clarabelle, but let's just forgive that. We liked the Wing Thomas. Well, I did. Oh man, this one was really, really popular in my eyes. Put it this way, if you didn't get this one early on, you missed out. Ryan, and I can't say the name of that one. I think they were twin cranes, the breakdown cranes. And yes, it was one of these things. There's something about when you go back to what normally seen on the railways, it works. I think abstract stuff doesn't work. I think hopefully this is the message I'm getting here. Although this is fairly abstract, but this one to me sold quite well. That's Hugo and Skiff. We don't want Skiff, but there was something about Hugo that really worked. And his little fan spun and everything as well. It was, to me, I saw it selling in the shops, and you know, that's what I'm looking at all the time. This one here was, well, half and half. For a while there, it was sitting on the shelves for a bit, and then all of a sudden they vanished. I like this one. Well, it goes really back to the classics, doesn't it? Although I think there's aspects of it that were underwhelming. I didn't like the little add-on bits at the front. I mean, just keep it simple, ship it, I say. This one here, again, if you weren't quick, you missed it. Royal Spencer. Yes, yeah. The rolling stock, that carriage didn't do much for me, but I think the Royal Spencer did lots for many people. This one here, this was a real shelf sitter. I saw so many of these laying around for so long. Even though it had excellent rolling stock, there was something about that Dirty Thomas that people didn't like, and this is the part that I don't understand. Or maybe the fact that Mattel generate a whole bunch of these, so there's like so many that overwhelm the stock, you know, equation. I know someone will tell me something about that. I'm sure that's the way it works. Oh, this is a classic one that if you weren't quick, again, from what I could see, you missed out. Shooting Star Gordon, okay? Yes, it was one of these things, a little bit underwhelming in the way it was detailed, but man, from what I could see, it was a pretty good seller. And this one here, I'm classifying this one as probably one of the ones that it just disappeared really fast. It didn't hang around for very long. Flying Scotsman, I think a lot of people weren't surprised by that. I may have said a long time back when I looked at this, you know, don't ignore this one. And I think a lot of people missed out on this one, and they're probably feeling a little bit disappointed at the moment. The other thing about these toys is, well, I think they're a really good price. This is the Australian pricing here. They're probably half this price in the USA. It does vary over time. This was the original Kmart price, was $19, so you can see Merlin in there, and Flying Scotsman I got for $19. Toys R Us always had a higher price. They also had security tags on their stuff as well. Kmart for a while went up in price. Maybe they weren't selling at that $22 mark, and I noticed they've ramped it back down to $20. That's Australia Kmart. And even for the most recent sets like this one, yes, I picked that one up for $20. But also remember, with the lowering of price, the toys have got smaller. Let me just push those over, because I've got some historical things to show you, and I write the prices on the bottom here. Catlin's Passenger Express, okay, Trackmaster Classic. How much did I pay for that one there? $35, but we're looking at a very, very different toy in a sense. We're looking at things that are, well, the old classic scaling in a sense. Okay, Duck's Close Shave. Classic, classic, classic. How much did I pay for that one? Ooh, $27. That's actually a pretty good price back in the day. Okay, it's probably worth a lot more now. Muddy Ferdinand. That's quite nice, isn't it? Yeah, that's right. How much did I pay for that one? $30. Would you rather pay $30 for that, or would you rather pay $19 for that? Very hard thing to answer, isn't it? And I'll finish with this one. Diesel 10 Takes Charge. Yes, who has this one? Who would like this one? It'd be more like it, hey? Diesel 10 Takes Charge. How much did I pay for that one? That was, well, bought at Target, 20% off discount, and it came down to, looks like $29. Diesel 10 Takes Charge, that was 2011. It isn't that long ago as I'm making this video. These trains here were 2013. Yeah, the good old days, hey, and most of these trains in the background here, you go back 3 to 5 years. And this one here would be the most recent one. Yep, that's a 2018 as I'm making this video. Copyright Thomas. And the point I'm making here and why I'm showing this is, if we've gone from that to that in a couple of years, well, what is this going to become, let's say, in 5 years' time? Scary, isn't it? Very scary.